What's up, everybody, and welcome back in. Donna Adelson back in court. And it's a topic that we've had a ton of questions on. And I think it's just so perfect when the court has a hearing, discusses the issues, answers a lot of our questions. And we're going to be able to expand on that in today's video. So many people have been asking, how is it possible that Dan Raspbaum represented potentially the Adelson parents and then Charlie Adelson, and now he's back representing Donna Adelson after already representing Charlie Adelson? How is that possible? Isn't that a conflict or a potential conflict? How do you deal with that in Florida? Well, that's exactly what this hearing is about. We also have some questions answered about whether or not this case is going to be something that's going to have a lot of long delays. Is it going to be something the defense pushes for a speedy trial? We get some indications here about how the defense and prosecutors are working together after they've already had a battle together where the prosecution has won and the defense has lost. Is the defense a poor sport? Is he going to complain about the jury? Is he going to complain about the judge? Is he going to complain about the prosecutor like we see in some of these other cases? We get a little bit of that interaction and discussions about how they've been treating each other in this set of discovery and circumstances dealing with Donna Adelson. So we're back in court. We're going to hear from the judge. We're going to hear from Donna Adelson. We're going to hear from her defense attorney, who also represented Charlie, and as well as the state. So let me know your questions in the comment section as this hearing goes. A lot of you have sent in a ton of questions around this subject already that I know will be answered in this video, either by the court or myself as we go through and discuss it together. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our page so you don't miss any of the content that we are putting out there into the YouTube verse. Here is Donna Adelson, and let's take a listen to this short 5 or 6 minute hearing.
Good morning, Ms. Adelson. Are you capable of hearing me?
Yes, I am.
All right. In the courtroom with me this morning is your counsel and also counsel for the state. I'm just going to ask at this time for all non-parties to this hearing not to speak or interfere with the business of the court. I'll allow the attorneys to make their appearances at this time.
Sarah Catherine Dugan for the state.
Good morning, Dan Raspbaum on behalf of Mrs. Adelson.
I'll allow both parties to provide any update that they wish, but I did have some matters that I wanted to raise also during this hearing today. Ms. Dugan, concerning discovery that's been turned over to the defense, are there any new or additional matters that have yet not been turned over at this point?
Not that I know of. I know that Mr. Raspbaum had an issue receiving something via OneDrive and was going to get a copy of a hard drive today from our office, so it's ongoing.
Right. Mr. Raspbaum, with regard to your review of this discovery, obviously you need to get everything the state needs to turn over, but is your review as such where we're going to need another case management in the next few months, or do you think we're in a position to start talking trial dates?
Judge, I think we'd ask for a case management sooner, maybe in
So the judge says, do we want to kick a case management, which is just another status conference to see where we're at, see where we're going, see if we have any issues. When can we set a trial date? Out a few months? Or are we doing this for speedy trial? Do we need to pick a trial date right now? And Raspbaum says, neither yet. We would like a new status, a new case management, a new hearing here to tell you what's going on, ask you questions, have you deal with issues we're having in just a couple weeks. And I think they said it 3 weeks away, February 12th is when they set the next status conference to see what's going on. You can also hear the state is giving defense discovery. Defense is having issues opening certain things on the OneDrive. So what are they doing instead? They're going to provide him an actual hard drive for him to go download to his computer. So they're working together. They're producing discovery. Everything is going as it should in a criminal litigation here.
3 weeks. I think we'll have a better idea then. The state's been working diligently with us on the discovery. But I think
the state has been working diligently with us with the discovery. He does not have to say that as a criminal defense attorney who just got beat on a case that he probably thought he made a pretty good argument on. His client did a pretty good job testifying. He probably knew it was a difficult case and that was a realistic outcome. But so what? We've seen attorneys lose and been poor sports and cry foul and talk about how horrible everybody else is. I haven't heard much of that from Dan Raspbaum. Again, this is how you professionally and zealously represent your client, win or lose. This is how you should act, in my opinion. Now, will he do something I disagree with later? Maybe. But as it sits right now, I thought he did a good job representing his client for the case that he had. I know a lot of you didn't like him and don't like his client, and that's the world of being a criminal defense lawyer. I think he did a pretty good job, as good of a job as you could do. He lost. The jury didn't buy the argument, and he's on to the next case because this is his job. This is his job.
We'll have a better idea in the next few weeks or so.
Okay. Ms. Adelson, there is a matter that I am going to have to address with you as well concerning conflicts that would be related to your counsel in this representation. I'm going to need to swear you in and take some brief testimony from you. And from there, I'll continue with the attorneys. Please raise your right hand, ma'am.
So we're
Do you
swearing
swear
Donna
or
Adelson in.
affirm the testimony?
We're swearing Donna Adelson in because he's going to ask her some questions, what we call a colloquy, about waiving the conflicts that potentially have arisen or will arise into the future or are likely to arise in the future between her and her attorney.
Testimony you're about to give will be the truth.
I do.
You can lower your hand. Ms. Adelson, do you understand under the Constitution you have the right to conflict-free representation?
I do.
As it relates to your current attorney, Mr. Rauschbaum, representing you, you understand that he has certain duties as it relates to his prior representation with your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Certain duties as it relates to his prior representation of your son, because those are the conflicts that she's waiving. And this is the very intelligent questions that a lot of you has had. How is that possible? Well, this basically means that Don Adelson is not going to point the finger at Charlie Adelson saying, he was the mastermind, he did it, he tricked me, I didn't know what was going on. Because in order for her to do that and pin a case on him, Dan Raspbaum would likely have to violate attorney-client privilege for information he knows or got from Charlie Adelson. So this is a pretty good indication that Dan Raspbaum is representing Donna Adelson, that Donna Adelson is waiving potential conflicts, that they are going to be at least in line and on the same team. It does not mean she's going to have the same exact argument. My guess is she will not have the same argument. Hers will be more of, I didn't know what was going on, and then Charlie said this, but I never really talked to Magbanwa or whatever. It's going to be a layer removed from the multiple conspiracies and multiple extortion on extortion types of situations that we are dealing with here. So that's what I would expect Donna Adelson's defense to be, something like that, something like, I didn't know what was going on, I thought it was legit, or Charlie told me this and that's why I did that. And the bump, I was like, I don't know, I got to ask Charlie, basically. But regardless, there are not going to be conflicts between her and Charlie Adelson. She's waiving any of those conflicts that may arise. Now, what do we do in a situation where a real conflict does pop up and Don Adelson's like, no, after looking at this, you know what? I do want to point the finger at Charlie. Well, if that happens, she can boot Raspbaum and get a new lawyer. So at this point, in order to continue on, he asks Mr. Raspbaum if he has any more questions or wants Donna Adelson to do anything else. So this could be at the request of the defense attorney to make sure he doesn't have any ethical issues, that Donna Adelson is in fact waiving conflict. It could have been a request from the state that the defense agreed with. It could have been something the judge wanted. But either way, everybody looking at this case knows that something like this is necessary. A colloquy between the judge and Donna Adelson, making sure she understands her rights and what rights she is waiving in order to have Dan Raspbaum be her lawyer.
I understand.
You understand his prior duty of confidence that he must maintain under the rules of professional responsibility in some way could affect your representation.
I do, Your Honor.
And do you also understand in deciding whether or not to waive any conflict concerning this matter, you have the right to obtain independent counsel on that matter?
I do, Your Honor.
Have you been able to discuss with independent counsel whether or not you waive any conflicts as it relates to the prior representation of your son?
I have, Your Honor.
And are you in fact waiving?
So she has the right to talk to another lawyer who's independent, ask them about the potential conflicts between Raspbaum and her and Charlie, and still make that decision as to whether or not she wants to hire him. She says she knew that, and she did talk to independent counsel. So she's about as up on her rights as anybody could be in this situation.
Of your son.
I have, Your Honor.
And are you in fact waiving any such conflicts?
I am, Your Honor.
There is a second issue as well as it relates to the rules of professional responsibility for attorneys. There's another prohibition within them that deals with the matter of an attorney possibly being a witness in a case. I do not know if the state would seek to call your attorney as a witness for any matter. However, you understand an attorney.
This is interesting that they added this to it. I don't know why Raspbaum would be a witness. Maybe for the jail calls, because we heard some discussions about maybe Raspbaum told Charlie this from Donna or whatever. Is it privilege? Is it not? Who did he represent when? But if he is called as a witness, that could also be a potential conflict. Now, you're not conflicted off if you're a witness that's good for your client. Usually you're only conflicted off if you're a witness that's bad for your client. And it's not privilege and they could force you to testify about it. So he's going to say this is a potential issue as well. And if this happens, then again, you could lose your lawyer. There are situations where you move forward knowing conflicts could pop up. And then if an unwaivable conflict exists, your lawyer's out. He's gone. He cannot represent you. And now you got to get a new lawyer. Do you want to take that chance?
Attorney cannot be both advocate and witness in the same case.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Do you understand as well if the state attempted to call your attorney for any reason that could materially affect your defense?
And again, the state could call him for any reason. But most of the time, you can make certain arguments and get around that with privilege, or if it's actually good for your client and things like that. It's not how it's supposed to be, but I've seen it happen in cases. But if it's a negative witness, you're absolutely conflicted off. If you as the lawyer are a negative witness against your client.
I understand.
Do you also understand you have the right to obtain independent counsel to assist you in making the decision as to whether or not you wish to waive this conflict, or even potential of conflict, I should say?
Yes, I'm aware of that, Your Honor.
And do you waive this potential conflict as well?
I do.
Mr. Rauschbaum, do you wish there to be any further inquiry as it would pertain to Lazarley versus State?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Adelson. That will conclude all testimony that I will need from you today.
And this is all important for appellate issues, so that she can't go back and say, I didn't understand what I was waiving. I didn't know there was a potential conflict. This isn't fair, this or that. We've got her now on the record, under oath, answering those questions. That's important for the judge. That's important for all the attorneys involved. That's important to keeping the case intact and only having to do this one time.
Defense have anything that it wishes to raise this morning?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Dugan, does the state have anything that it wishes to raise?
No, sir.
Very well. So we can settle on another date for case management coming up. You were asking for 3 weeks from now, Mr. Rauschbaum?
That would be great, Your Honor, if you could accommodate that. Or somewhere near that.
Right. I have case management coming up again on February 12th. However, that's my normal case management day. Is this something that we're going to be able to accomplish within the normal time confines, or we're going to need a carved out date? Ms. Dugan?
I don't expect any issue would take more than 10 or 15 minutes. So I think a regular court day would be fine.
Which indicates they're working well together. Any major issues they probably already fought out in Charlie's case. So they're turning over what needs to be turned over. If they saw numerous huge issues popping up over and over again, and we're going to set aside as 3 weeks, maybe we'd need more time. More discussion coming on the speedy trial in a minute.
Very well. February 12th at 2:30 in the afternoon. We will schedule the next case management date. Ms. Adelson, once again, you will appear by Zoom, but your counsel will be in the courtroom and you will be able to hear him, obviously, in preparation for any court date. Either him or Mr. Morris can visit with you and discuss all pertinent matters. One question that I did have for the defense as well, is there going to be a waiver of speedy trial, or do we know when the 175th day is going to be if we need to start thinking about calendaring a trial?
There's not going to be a waiver yet, Your Honor.
Yet. There's not going to be a waiver yet. Now, that could mean nothing. That could mean the speedy trial is coming. I think having a status hearing in 3 weeks also indicates maybe they're going to demand a speedy trial. But he does say yet. So maybe they will eventually work to waiving speedy trial. I kind of think everybody wants this case to go to trial sooner rather than later. So I don't expect this to be one that's going to take 3 years to go to trial. But will it happen within that speedy trial period? We don't know yet.
I don't know when the 175th day is, but I don't think it's going to be an issue.
I don't think it's going to be an issue. Does that mean they're going to schedule and agree to the trial soon? Or does that mean he's going to waive it and they're going to agree to a trial date outside the speedy trial? We don't know, but he doesn't see it as being a major issue, meaning he and the state are likely on the same page about this.
We're working diligently with the state to try to figure out a trial date.
Right. Ms. Dugan, do you wish to be heard as to that issue?
No, sir.
Very well. With that being said, that covers everything I believe we need to hit for today's hearing. Ms. Adelson, your counsel will be in touch with you to discuss matters before February. I will see you then. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks, Chair.
All right, the Honorable Stephen Everett.
All right. So this is what it's supposed to look like, right? Lawyers fighting, battling it out, trying hard to win, to do the right thing, to get justice and what they believe justice to be. Whether it goes their way or not, they handle it appropriately and professionally. So let me know what you think about speedy trial, about this case, about Dan Raspbaum representing Charlie Adelson and now Donna Adelson. What do you think about their defenses? Do you think Charlie will testify on behalf of Donna? So many questions we'll get to discuss as we continue following this case. But thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out and let me know what you thought of the video or if you have any questions in the comment section. Until next time, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast with new seasons dropping every quarter. If you have a case you want to talk to us about, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, the Lawyer You Know.